Killing is easy. There are literally hundreds of ways to kill in Absolution. The difficult part is getting away with it. And getting away with it in style.
We are at the headquarters of IO Interactive in Copenhagen, Denmark, talking to Christian Elverdam, the gameplay director of the upcoming Hitman Absolution. Now, we were here last year, just when you were announcing the game, and I guess a lot of stuff have happened since then. So what's the most exciting thing that's happened in the Hitman universe to you since we were here last?
Well, besides announcing contracts, which we are super happy about, and that we got a lot of good feedback on, I think it's the coming full circle with the game. We're now showing it to you guys, having journalists play the game and feel it with their own hands, basically. And that means that the game is now in a shape where the AI is doing what it's supposed to do. The levels are up and running. They're really where we wanted them to be. Mm-hmm. So it's not one thing necessarily. It's just the whole game kind of wrapping up and becoming what it's supposed to be.
Now, one of the levels we just played, because we were playing the demo earlier, I saw on the challenge, every level has a bunch of challenges. This one had about 12 different ways to kill the main target, I guess. Is that is that typical of Hitman Absolution level?
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, the not only the kills, obviously, if you have a target, there are a lot of different ways of killing them, but also other levels, like the Hotel Terminus, you will actually find that you have a lot of different challenges, and the challenges work in the way that if you complete a challenge, you will actually permanently increase your score on that area of the game, which means if you want to compete, we actually encourage you to replay the game quite a few times. Sometimes it's the close to the franchise challenges of being suit only, never changing disguise, or remaining completely unseen. Other times it's just fun, crazy skill puzzles we came up with that we feel fit the location nicely.
As I was playing, I was noting on the score screen there was obviously my score, which was pretty good, I guess. And then also there was an average for Denmark or something like that. Tell us about that.
Well, definitely. I mean, we wanted to have different elements in how we compare your scores. So obviously we think it's fun that you can see how you're faring. You can also very easily see how your friends are faring and compare yourself to those. And then obviously we have the worldwide leaderboard. But the worldwide leaderboard is a little bit intimidating, at least. We felt that it's really for the best players in the world. But we saw this kind of fun thing that we could say, okay, what about your country? How do you fare against the average in your country? But also we can pit you against other countries. So we say, how's Denmark faring versus Sweden, which is, for instance, a classic rivalry we have going, and they are, all over the place. So we thought we had this kind of fun little thing going. But it's also kind of nice. You can see roughly how good you are, basically.
I guess there's a lot of Assassins coming out this year. I won't mention it anymore, just because we're not like that. But there's more than one Assassin game coming out this fall. This is a loaded question, but what do you think makes your guy the best guy?
Well, I think there are a lot of Assassin games coming out. That's true. I think it's a very, very nice genre. It's about empowering players, right, to do what they want, and I think that's where we really, really shine. That within these microcosms, these small worlds, you are actually absolutely free to do whatever you want. And then the detail level in that reply to you, what are you doing in terms of how is the AI talking to you, how are the characters reacting, all that stuff. We are super dense on all the fine details that really make it feel like this is a small section of a living world, basically. And I think some of the situations you can get into there, they just they feel like nothing else, basically. That is where you're playing Hitman Absolution and not any other game, because that couldn't simply happen, that the maid comes running in while this guy is over there and there's a dead body, and I didn't do it, I'm dressed as a cop or something like that. Yeah. You can't really get that stuff anywhere else. So definitely yes.
Obviously, the viewers haven't played the demo that I just played. So could you give us a sort of example of that openness that the typical mission would entail?
Yeah, but I think you talked about it as well. We have one of the first levels you played was King of Chinatown, where, as you also mentioned, that we have established 12 different ways of killing the King of Chinatown. There are, I guess, many more if you really want to be experimental. So that's kind of showcasing a hit, basically. It's also showing you how the crowd system works in at least one of the areas you're going to play. You're also going to try to play in a crowd later, where you really get a feel for the fact that they can also hide you, because at that point you're probably being hunted by police. And then you kind of learn that not only does the crowd work as ambience or a mood setter in a level, but it also has real gameplay implications. If you can really remain undetected, they will actually help hide you, and you can can turn your back to people, and there's a lot of stuff you can do in a crowd that you can't do in the main game, if you will. And that's also an example of what we're doing. We're constantly trying to shake up what you're doing. If you're doing a hit, your mindset is one thing. How do I do it? Do I want to find many ways of doing it? Do I want to be creative? Do I want to create chaos? Then we kind of have a crowd. So now you're kind of faced with another situation. Maybe you have some stealth, classic stealth, where you try to remain hidden, and then you've got disguise gameplay. So we constantly mix up what the theme or the mood of what you are trying at the moment is, but at the same time it's always up to you, right? You can take disguises in a crowd level, or you can do action in a stealth level. You can do basically whatever you want, and what I really like is then that the game really, it can kind of grasp what you're doing and provide resistance, if you will, or entertainment, no matter what. Even if you're being completely silent, you'll find all these small stories and dark humorous elements everywhere.
I know one of the aspects of the game that you're proud of is the AI. Talk us through a little bit of that. What makes the AI of Hitman Absolution special?
Well, we talked about that the AI is basically the co-star of any Hitman game. We have a lot of focus on Agent 47, but in reality, Agent 47 he's walking around in a world that reflects back on him, and that means every character in the game is actually a big star, if you will. We treat them as that, at least. They have small stories. They can do unpredicted things you didn't expect. They react very organically to what you're doing. So if for instance, if a civilian sees your disguise, what will he do? If he sees a gun, he'll be scared. If not, he might just run for help. If that help arrives, but you're not there, what will it do? All these things. So in terms of making it feel like you have a real choice and that everything is well-rounded around that choice, the AI is the main vessel there, right? That is everything we go to. They need to understand the situation and also communicate to you what's going on. This is also what we talked about when we say that we wanted to make the game appeal wider than it's ever been before, without really changing the essence of feeling clever and having good, solid challenges in the game. And one of the ways of doing that is actually having the characters talk a lot more about what they're seeing, what they're experiencing, because if you're listening, they will actually get you clues to what you can do or what you can expect. Do they know that I'm in a disguise, for instance? If they don't, well, I can just walk out that door and they'll just say, hey, there's a police officer, okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I guess that there's some acting to the AI as well, because obviously the game knows where you are at all times, but it sort of has to act like it doesn't.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously the AI deliberately tells itself that it doesn't know where you are. Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, at every point we know where 47 is, but we just don't. I mean, it wouldn't be fair, right, if the AI sort of with a Borg mindset just pinpointed you every time. So they will have to share that information. And if you look at the little radar we did, you can actually see how a gunshot, it kind of bursts out on the radar, and that's sort of the gunshot event that you can see these guys. They will turn yellow, I think it is, and then they'll come investigate. They'll send at least 1 or 2 guys to figure out what it was. And obviously a gunshot, they take seriously. Their guns are out. They know it was something dangerous. If you threw a vase at a wall, they will be more casual about it. So yeah, definitely. But they will know what you are doing, and we talked about that as well, that in terms of creating a cinematic experience where it feels like you're part of a suspense movie, if you will, it's super important that the AI really knows, okay, now you're hiding, maybe you're hiding in a closet, so it knows like, so now the AI will act upon that, or the music at least will enforce that, or if you're in action, or if you're running, we measure a lot of different things to make it feel like you're part of a movie experience, if you will, even though it's not a linear thing, it's more like a completely organic thing, but that also taxes the AI and the sound system we attach to that AI quite a bit.
Yeah, because I know you've been doing a lot of work with the sound as well, and with audio cues and all that jazz. How?
Well, how do we work with the audio?
Yeah, or like what does the sound do to sort of enhance the?
Well, besides having the dialogue, we also spend a lot of time really working with how the game actually tries to inform you of different events. So if, for instance, if you throw a distraction, you'll get small sound stingers telling you that the tension levels have risen. When it's time to stand down again for the AI, you'll also get this kind of feedback from the game, which is sort of meta communication. But again, it's a way of opening up the game, opening up the logic that's going on that you really need to understand as a player if you want to be a master of everything, right? And it's in a way where it's not ruining the game for you. It's just simply letting you know what's up, basically, and you won't really doubt whether if you threw a distraction whether it worked, because there will be a small post filter video effect, and you'll get this sound stinger that you'll get to learn, and you will also get to learn the other one, which is they stood down. It's a clear state. It's like, whew, that's really good.
All right. Just here for the last question, because I always forget these things. When's the game coming out?
The game is coming out November 20th. It's coming out on PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and on the PC.
All right. Thank you very much, Christian.
Tack.